Helping people can look so different depending upon what your skill set is and what your willingness is. And as I've learned in some of the experiences that I've had, my idea of what help is maybe not what God's idea of what help is. To be helpful means to be willing, just to be open.
At Kensington, we have several global partners in Kenya, in India, in Nepal. Nepal specifically, we have Our Daughters International. It's run by Ramesh Sapkota.
One of the major causes of human trafficking is brokenness in the family. So how could we let the daughters, let the girls to experience what's the true nature of a father-daughter relationship? What a healthy father and daughter relationship look like? So that needed to be seen.
Even I've always had a really good relationship. She's driven, very kind of firstborn, very focused. You know, she's somebody that you can sort of set in motion and she just goes. She's fun. She's a lot of fun.
He's just a really good person. One of the best people that I've had the privilege to meet, let alone have be my dad.
In February of this year, for the very first time, we sent a team of fathers and daughters to Nepal to visit with women who are in the training centers and safe homes at Our Daughters International. That is an organization that works with women who have been trafficked. They work to support those survivors, and they are actively working to try and prevent that from happening in the future.
Having worked with other global partners or just been involved in other mission experiences, Ramesh was unique. I really appreciated his humility. He is an individual who knows exactly what he is and who he is. He's bridging this fine line of being inspiring, being a leader, being strong, but also being tender, being open, being approachable. He's got a really interesting skill set that lends itself well for what he's doing.
Our training center is really focusing on excellency on everything we do for the daughters. We have such an incredible team to train and empower the daughters on vocational skills. From here, now moving forward, moving closer to the point where the daughters are presenting themselves as a leader. And that's how we impact. We get into every aspect of society and start impacting the community so that community becomes a better place, a healthier place for the daughters to live in.
A moment that really stuck out to me was we went into a room where they were all sitting and they were all so excited to see us. And the way they greeted us and welcomed us was shocking to all of us because we didn't know that we'd be greeted that warmly. And after we spent more time with them, they got up and told their stories.
To be in an environment where you're with dozens of girls ranging from teenagers to maybe people in their 40s, and they all have these stories of just tragedy where they've been taken advantage of as though their lives mean nothing. I hadn't seen anything quite like that. So to stand there with all of these young women and even with a language barrier, hear their stories and see their pain and then see at the same time the joy that they have and the hope, that was a new experience for me.
And one event on that time together, we did a feet washing. These girls at the safe house, at the training centers, most of the people who have come closer to them and even touched their feet have touched negatively, have touched with the wrong intention, and have touched to harm them. But this time, the father-daughter's trip, they washed the daughter's feet, they wiped the feet with a clean towel, and now the time they spent with the tears and blessed them.
They set up all of these rows of chairs and they put basins in front of them and they fill them with water, and then the dads go down and we're kneeling in front of these basins, and then they bring the girls and they sit in the chair and we wash their feet, and then we get up and they hug us and then they leave. And after a few of the girls, like, they just start weeping when you're washing their feet.
As I was a part of that whole moment, I could not hold myself. I had to cry because I saw such a powerful bonding moment.
They had only ever had men especially take from them, and so to have a man give to them was a lot. And I could tell there was some fear, but then some acceptance. I just felt like this was definitely changing some of their lives, and that was really cool. And they just are the epitome of strength and perseverance to me now.
To see how God uniquely calls people with specific gifts and how he inspires hearts from somebody from one side of the world to then use that to encourage somebody from another side of the world, it's hard to put into words how unique and special that is.
I think it was a reminder to me that God says, I can use you if you're willing, just to go in a heart of willingness and to be able to go with my daughter and do that. It was such a unique opportunity, and I'm really thankful.
Me too.
What an incredible story of Steve and Eva as a father and a daughter getting to engage people, these young women that have been so devalued their whole life, and then finding themselves lifted up to a place of honor.
Yeah, I think as I was listening to Steve especially talk, he just speaks to this willingness and then what happened in his life because there was a willingness, which I think starts with a curiosity. And I know I can speak for myself. I've never been, but I have a daughter that I would love to take on this trip with me as well. Because one of the great things about Kensington is the work that we get to do through local Indigenous people all around the world and these massively wonderful gospel-centered things that have come out of it.
Yeah, I never dreamed that we would get to have an effect on thousands and thousands of young women in Nepal, much less all the people all across the world. But this ministry to Our Daughters International with Ramesh is one prime example of the willingness of Kensington people to engage with what Jesus Christ is doing in the world. And when you make a year-end Christmas gift to Kensington, it's fueling movements here and around the world. And I can't think in my lifetime of any greater honor than of giving and supporting the work of Our Daughters. It's just one of the many places where we are seeing Jesus Christ work. And I want to thank you for considering this, praying about it, and seeing God move with us in this world.